paying taxes right. It means the American way, especially on retirement savings. You might be saving pre-tax dollars now, but later when the money has tripled or quadrupled, hopefully, Uncle Sam will, of course, want his share. We've convened a personal finance task force to talk about ways of minimizing that hit, and we're going to talk about something called a Roth 401k, among other things. Joining us today, Jim Suits is president of Summit Capital Advisors, based in Tacoma, but he's at a studio in Seattle for us today. Jacob Gold is president of Jacob Gold and Associates in Phoenix. He was just named one of the 6 most dependable wealth managers in the Southwest by Forbes magazine. Happy New Year to you both. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's to you, too.
I know a Roth IRA, but a Roth 401k, Jim, are basically the same idea?
It's basically the same idea. There's some differences in how much you can contribute, who's eligible, and when it comes time to do some rollovers, perhaps into a Roth IRA, or to another Roth 401k. There's some changes there, but basically it's the same type of investments with the same rules.
I can't imagine there are that many companies that are offering it right now, Jim.
Probably in the range of 30%. It was slow to take off. People wanted to wait and see what was going to happen. There are expenses that companies have to incur to do this because they have to keep a completely separate set of books. You can't use the same account that you use for a traditional.
Right.
And so they have to track how much is going in as well as the earnings because sometimes you could get into a situation where there are taxes due if you don't get a qualified distribution.
Jacob, when Roth IRAs were first introduced, we had this debate going right away of who it was best for, and I think, if I remember correctly, a lot of financial planners said if you have to choose, maybe younger people should go with the Roth IRAs, and older boomers maybe go with the more traditionals, just stick with what they already had. Is that still the case, or is a Roth good for anybody right now?
You know, that's a great question. In my opinion, I feel that the Roth 401k is appropriate for just about anybody, especially for the younger employees and those highly compensated employees that they are not eligible to contribute to a Roth IRA. For tax purposes, Uncle Sam says that they're making too much money. If you're a single taxpayer, you cannot have income over $114,000. If you're married filing jointly, you can't have income over $166,000. That is changing in 2010, but as of right now, for those individuals that are high income taxpayers, the Roth 401k is a great way for them to actually get money into a tax-free environment that normally wouldn't be available to them.
Just for the record, let's remind everybody the difference between a Roth vehicle and a traditional retirement vehicle when it comes to those tax treatments. Jacob, you tell us that very quickly.
That's a great question. When we talk about a traditional 401k, employees receive a dollar-for-dollar tax deduction on their contributions. The money grows tax deferred, and when they take it out, it is all considered ordinary income. It's different with a Roth 401k. When individuals make a contribution to a Roth 401k, they do not receive a tax deduction. In exchange, though, they have 100% tax-free growth on their investment upon distribution.
And Jim, do you agree with Jacob? It's good for virtually anybody who can invest in those vehicles?
I would agree wholeheartedly. There's instances, though, where it may not be appropriate for 1 or 2 people. Perhaps a very young couple that's just starting out, and they can only save the $4,000 or $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I think a Roth IRA might be more beneficial to them because it allows more flexibility.
All right, we're giving folks something to think about, and I'm sure they'll be asking their HR department, hey, why don't we have a Roth 401k? Thank you, gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it very much.
You're quite welcome.
Street signs just a few minutes away for the new year. Let's see what we can look forward to. Erin Burnett has been standing here waiting patiently to tell us what's coming up at the top of the hour. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Bill. All right, now, in honor of the new year.